More options. Signs of changing times are everywhere we look these days. So it felt almost matter-of-fact that, in the midst of a cold open brimming with every character and guest star Saturday Night Live's writers could cram in, the show featured what was most likely its first ever appearance by a porn star, and it felt as natural as anything else on the show. The episode opened on Ben Stiller, in for the duration, it seems, as Michael Cohen, the president's lawyer, fixer, talking on a payphone to Alec Baldwin's Donald Trump, as FBI agents Chris Redd and Alex Moffat listen in. He's panicked, fearing the authorities know about their collusion K and obstruction of justice J. His attempts at using pig Latin code failed before Trump, who doesn't speak Spanish. This segment evolves to include Rudy Giuliani on a conference call, but Cohen accidentally dials the president's former doctor, Harold Bornstein, played here by surprise guest number 2, Martin Short, who answers the phone with, "Well, hello, this is Dr. Harold Bornstein. Would you like to know any of my patient's medical history?" Short mocks Bornstein's comparison of the removal of files from his office by Trump's team to rape by having the doctor bellow the claim in a Jerry Lewis-like burst of manic energy. After offering Cohen drugs, Cohen hangs up from him and dials Giuliani, played by Kate McKinnon. McKinnon's Giuliani, who takes the call while on the air at Fox News, emphasizes Giuliani's vampiric, oversized facial expressions, all bulging eyes and wandering tongue, and says he'll be treating his upcoming media appearances like an advent calendar, revealing one crime per slot. By way of adding to the conference call, the sketch soon sees Aidy Bryant as Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Cecily Strong as Melania Trump, calling Cohen to inquire about whether a wife can testify against her husband if she wants to, Leslie Jones as Omarosa, Beck Bennett as Michael Pence, calling the wrong number after clearly trying to dial a gay sex line, and guests Scarlett Johansson and Jimmy Fallon, the sketch's third former cast member now, as Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner. Fallon's Kushner talks like Mickey Mouse, and when Cohen informs Ivanka her father would toss Jared under the bus in a heartbeat, she's fine with it. But all of these were just a wind-up for the big surprise, as Trump asks Cohen, sarcastically, if he should just call Stormy Daniels herself and settle this once and for all. So that's what Cohen does, and then Daniels herself picks up the phone. The mainstreaming of porn is hardly new. Still, seeing Stormy Daniels on SNL, as natural a newsmaker as any candidate, puts a button on just how bizarre our current timeline has become. Baldwin's Trump flirts with her, says come on, we know it's just an act. Daniels reminds him that, in adult films they're hardly known for their acting, and her line delivery confirms that, but overall, Daniels did fine, reading the cue cards less obviously than many previous hosts who act for a living. As he tries to revive their dalliance, she tells him, I know you don't believe in climate change, but a storm's a-comin', baby, before joining him at the end for, Live from New York, It's Saturday Night. Host Donald Glover talked about the joy of being rich in New York, and mentioned that despite all his success, he's still miffed at not being cast on the show when he auditioned. According to a recent tweet from writer Jesse David Fox, Glover and John Mulaney both auditioned for SNL on the same day 10 years ago. Neither was cast, and now they've just hosted back-to-back episodes of the show, discussing his many areas of talent. He's also the episode's musical guest. As Childish Gambino, he visits various cast members backstage, asking about their auditions and trying to do whatever it is they're doing. Kyle Mooney is skateboarding, etc. and failing at all of it. The bit dragged a bit, but Glover was charming as all get out. In the first sketch, Glover plays a terrible lawyer representing Jurassic Park in a lawsuit against them by a man, Mikey Day, whose friends and family were eaten by the park's escaping dinosaurs. Glover reminds him that his pass notes that the park is not responsible for lost and damaged items, and makes Day read the pass even though it's covered in his friend's blood. He shows a video of Day and his friends having fun in the park, but stops it seconds before they're all eaten by a T-Rex. The dumber Glover gets, the funnier this is. Spoiler alert, Glover loses the case. Next, Glover, Red and Kenan Thompson play a Takeoff on Migos in a video parody that shows them going to therapy to resolve their issues as a group. Bits of the music video are cut with them in session with therapist Strong, working disputes and breakthroughs from their therapy in with the song's clips. The sketch gets deep, with Thompson, the hype man, talking about how he repeats what the others say because he doesn't think the others care about his opinion. From the music video components to the interplay between Strong and her sometimes acquiescent, sometimes defiant subjects, this was a home run. The episode is becoming music-heavy by this point, as Glover parodies the music video for The Rain, the Quiet Storm 80s jam from Moron, Juice Jones. The sketch features Glover as Raspy Berry, singing in an alley at night, with dark sunglasses on, about seeing his woman, Strong, with another man, Thompson. The music portions are intercut with Glover telling her off while refusing to listen to her side. The twist in the end is that given his dark glasses at night, the whole thing is a case of mistaken identity. Strong's not his girlfriend at all. Which is a shame, because in his jealous anger, he put all her jewelry up his ass. He also tried to cut off his own dick, and poured his urine in his hair just because his girlfriend likes the smell of his hair. Funny performance by Glover here, who is proving to be not just an adept host but finding fun ways to work his many talents into the show. Next, Glover, Strong, Thompson, Bennett and Bryant appear for a take on the hit film A Quiet Place. As they walk through a field, doing their best to not make a sound, they discover something incredible, that Kanye West tweeted out support for Trump. The sketch, then, finds them trying to remain silent as Kanye's tweets show increasingly greater allegiance to the president. It's a funny premise, and one by one they can't help but yelp in disbelief at Kanye's moves. And as each one yells, the monsters take them. Next up is the surprising return of a sketch from last season's Aziz Ansari episode where Melissa Villaseñor is in bed with her boyfriend, now Glover, and attempts dirty talk during sex. Unfortunately, she's horrible at it, always saying something that kills the mood. I found this slightly funnier than last year's version, in part because Villaseñor, a stiff actress at times, loosens up a bit here. Glover says, "Hurt me," and she replies, "Your dad's dead." Then, without warning, she role-plays them as brother and sister. When he calls her a little freak, she starts talking like the Elephant Man. Etc. A solid progression of outrageousness. She winds up working in a Bill Cosby impression, including his Fat Albert, and some good laughs here. Weekend Update saw Pete Davidson at the desk for a weird bit about Update hosts Colin Yost and Michael Che hosting this year's Emmys. Davidson is jealous, and the bit plays like a minor roast. I think it's great that Emmy hosts now are just cute friends. Who's hosting next year? A squirrel and a cat. There were a few funny lines here. I also enjoyed, "I know what happened. America saw you," Yost read a joke, and then you, Che, read a different joke, and they were like, "What chemistry?" But this mostly meandered. Leslie Jones came to the desk to talk about the prospect of Facebook getting into the online dating game. But really, she discussed her dating history, highlighting her talent for picking losers, this time in song. More endearing than funny, she sang about the man whose mother told her, "I had him, and you can do better," or the man who left her crying in her hotel room for 6 hours listening to Mary J. oblige. Next, Glover came out as Lando Calrissian, his role in the upcoming Star Wars film Solo, speaking at a convention of intergalactic black people, and addressing the question, where are all the black people in space? The convention has 3 attendees, and represents all the black people in the galaxy. Clearly, they were expecting way more. After Thompson and Jones give abbreviated speeches, highlighting their disappointment at the low turnout, Glover sings a song with a blue elephant on piano. After setting up a strong premise, this went nowhere. The next sketch found Glover, Davidson, and Heidi Gardner as interns at Mattel, charged by Strong and Thompson with writing captions for Barbie's Instagram account, and finding themselves quite bad at it. Davidson and Gardner seem to have one brain between them. The only caption Davidson can think of for her is, "I'm Barbie," and Glover is traumatized by an accident he saw years before and integrates that into his tweets, plunging Barbie into a series of existential crises. A few good laughs here, and the closest Glover has come to breaking yet. For the final sketch of the evening, Glover, Thompson and Red play prison inmates forced to work as call center customer service employees. After talking about their prison work, which brings them 30 cents an hour, as the new slave labor, they switch back and forth between telling hard, scary prison stories, and speaking to customers in friendly, soothing tones. Kind of one-note but fun interactions between the 3, and then Bennett brought in at the end to show us how Hannibal Lecter might handle a life in customer service. SNL returns next week with host Amy Schumer and musical guest Casey Musgraves. Larry Gitlin is the author of the book Conversations with Carlin. Follow him on Twitter at @LarryGitlin. Watch the Donald Glover, Childish Gambino episode of SNL on Hulu. Saturday Night Live Stormy Daniels.